Do I have a motion to go into open? Mr. Ernst, first, second. Mr. Nelson, thank you, all in favor? Aye. You're open. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, welcome to Robert Gordon School Gymnasium, Special Auditorium. We just concluded our executive session, and we had 3 matters to discuss. All 3, 1, 2, and 3 were all concerning personnel matter. No action was taken. That being said, we're going to start off with the first public participation portion of the evening tonight. For agenda items only, if there's anything you'd like to speak on, please come forward, say your name, address, and what agenda item you'd like to comment on. You have 3 minutes for your public comment, and if you hear this phone, my phone go off because I'm keeping the 3-minute time. And when that, I tried to get it for the sound this time, but when that goes off, please just wrap it up. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
This is for third grader.
You got it?
Just do this. Little karaoke. Kristen Crawford, 426 Maywood Avenue. I just wanted to comment on agenda item number 2. As some of you know, I had the honor of being on the committee to interview and to hire Roselle. And the 2 years that she has been at Aldine School as a new full-time principal, some bumps in the road. I understand that she's resigning. I wish her the best of luck. My concern is that Admin 101, right? You include all of your stakeholders, especially when you are hiring a new principal of the school. I am sure that the candidate that you are transferring is a fine person, but I just am curious as to why you've chosen to not do a full search. You just hired a new principal at Sherman School. There was a full search there. And why I feel, and this is my feelings, I'm entitled to a feeling, but I feel that we are not getting the same extension of the due process. So if someone could address that, I would appreciate that. Also, how are the parents and the staff being included? We're not at all. We're just being told, this is your new principal. So that is my public comment on the agenda item.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input. The district in the past has transferred administrators, needed to be transferred, so we put it in. Yes, I really cannot comment specifically on the reason. Obviously, we're part of the committee, and we did include many different stakeholders, as well as in Sherman, but we do have the flexibility to make transfers within the administration. Sure.
Sorry, I just want to comment. If it is a true transfer from one position to another, then why is there a salary increase involved in that? Just correct me if I'm wrong, it's a director/literacy coach position. It's not a principal to a principal or a vice principal to a vice principal. So that's why I'm confused at a transfer. That's my confusion.
Thank you.
Good evening. I don't know what's on. Good evening, Mr. Superintendent, board members. Question for you. Can you explain why you have to put Miss, I can't pronounce her name, Miss Sectinato onto the fast track for promotion? This is perhaps the fastest promotion in Roselle Park history. January 2015, she was hired as an ECC director/literacy coach. 6 months later, June of 2015, we replaced the literacy coach, part of her job title, to ESL supervisor. Now, 1 year, 4 months after she was hired, she's being transferred to be Aldine principal. How do you know she's the best candidate? Where's your data to support this decision? What happened to the literacy coach part of her job title? Did you create this position without planning and foresight? I'm also questioning the true transfer, ECC director/ESL supervisor, to the Aldine principal. It seems to be a promotion. A transfer would mean she's moving to a job with the same pay. Your increase in pay is telling me this is a promotion, not a transfer. As a part of past practices, Aldine principal job should have been posted as Ms. Bello resigned. We posted the Aldine principal job in 2014, the Sherman principal job in 2015. Why is there a change in policy? I implore you folks to table this and vote it down on item number 2. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, Chestnut Street, I just wanted to point out on agenda item number 12, the use of buildings and grounds. The wrestling dinner is not on July 21st, it's on April 21st.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Jacob Terrell, 612 Sheridan Avenue, Roselle Park, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, viewing audience, members of the board, Mr. Miller, President, Mr. Barrino. Good evening, David. Resolution to section personal matter. There are 3 personal matters, and what are they and how are they documented for future custody?
All 3 of the
In writing.
I'm sorry?
And can I have your opinion in writing?
All of the items that were discussed in the executive session were personnel items. There's nothing more that we can say about them at this time. However, they're documented as 1, 2, and 3, so that when the executive session minutes are kept, they correspond to those numbers.
At number 5, the trip to Roselle Lane, school, State Park. Students pay for that? Is that a paid trip?
Jake, we can't hear you, so the system is pathetic. I guess if we went to Borough Hall, it'd be nice.
They didn't have to put the lights in.
I would put Borough Hall, would be good.
Jake, the students do not have to pay for that trip. The students do not have to pay for that trip. They do not.
Not paying.
No.
Does everybody in the public hear Mr. Majero's question?
No.
I can't hear.
The question he asked was concerning agenda item number 5A, Featherhead Lane School. Class trip for the high school supplemental classroom concerning being educated on animal pet issues and whether a fee was charged or not. And our response was no, there was not.
My bad, Ron.
Yes, sir.
Item number 6, incoming tuition, number 101, Hillside, $16,249. Please explain that.
That's, yes. Jake, that is a high school tuition student and plus the related services. That's a student that we take in, okay, from Hillside School District.
Explain revised closed session.
What number is that?
9. February 2nd, until 23rd. Closed session is revised. Why was it revised?
It's just a general revision. There was an item that needed to be further expanded, so the information was expanded, and now we're going on to revise it.
Number 10. Please explain care stations. What is this all about?
Jake, every school district is required to have a doctor to give their expert, if we need some expert advice from a doctor, so they have to have a doctor. This Dr. Roselle has been the district doctor here for many, many years.
Who do they examine? The teachers of the
No, they do not examine. If we have a medical situation, they do, and they do come in if we need them. If we need him, he comes into the district. He comes into the district if we need him.
It's a retained.
He's the medical.
It's a retained medical doctor. By law, we have to have a doctor. Mr. Carino is saying, by law, we have to have a doctor on call, on staff, basically. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would take this as a retainer for this particular doctor to be at the call of the district when needed. That's what he's for. We don't, he doesn't examine anybody, your health insurance, none of the teachers or administrators go to this particular person unless they have to. It's because it's an emergency care facility that he's also involved with. But by law, we have to have somebody on staff.
So we have nurses that are...
This is a doctor. Doctors are different than nurses, Jay, as you know. So a doctor, if a doctor is needed, this is for when we need it for a doctor. Okay, it's by law we have to have it.
The state requires, Jake, that we have a doctor on call here if needed. Yeah.
Jake, say if something happened, like, Zika virus is pretty prevalent in certain parts of the country and in South America. Say we got a case of Zika virus in the district, or some other condition that a child came down with. we would get advice from that doctor. Or, you know, like when we were drafting the EpiPen policy 4 years ago, he was consulted. So basically, we need a set of medical knowledge, eyes and ears, to keep watch over events that could always happen at any moment in the district.
How many times was he used last year?
Jake, it makes no difference, the state says we have to have it, so, I mean, whether we use them once or we use them 100 times.
So, if the state mandates, the state pay. Thank you.
Thank you. In a perfect world, that'd be great. Seeing there's no one else, we'll move on to committee reports. Does anyone have a committee report they'd like to speak on?
Yes, Mr. As facility chair, as everybody knows right now, that pole has come down on the athletic field, the lights. Today, I called the superintendent's office. I was away over the weekend, found out when I was away, but I did just want to call to find out what we're doing here. I wanted all activities canceled, which they were. The baseball team was moved to Summit, and the track team was canceled for safety reasons. Tomorrow, between 8 and 12, there's a professional coming out to inspect every pole. I'm instructing, the attorney can let me know if I can do this or not, but if there's a pole found to be at faulty condition, immediately they will get a crane and take that pole down. The other thing, I'm asking for the supervisor for maintenance to, tomorrow morning, I know it's a little late, but it's kind of hard to keep everybody out of the complex. There are areas where people can get in there, but until we know that every pole is safe, I'm asking the maintenance people to go out and lock every gate. Including the gate, which might be a little bit of an inconvenience for our bus drivers, to even lock that gate so nobody can come in. This is safety, this is for our community, or anybody else that might come in there, walk the track at any time. They walk in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, people are walking. So I need to feel safe for our community and the district that we're doing something about it now. Again, if we can't keep everybody out, I would also ask that the superintendent, maybe tonight, to, if he has the chief of police number, to call and ask if the patrol might be able to swing by more than they usually do, just to make sure that there's nobody in there. Again, we don't know if anything's bad, we don't know if anything's going to come down. I would hate for anybody, and thank goodness that nobody over this weekend was there and got hurt. So, again, we're doing everything we can in our power to do it. If somebody's good at Facebook or whatever, maybe you might want to put out there that was asking everybody to stay off the field until it's safe, that we can put out there on Facebook again or whatever media where we can do it is to say it's safe. But right now, I'm asking people, if anybody's watching, to stay off the field, tell their children, tell their neighbors to stay off the field. Again, this is for safety. This is not to scare anybody, believe me, it's not to scare anybody, but I'm not going to sit here and say that everything's safe out there. So if we could do that, and then by tomorrow afternoon, we'll know. And again, Pedro, and again, if we find something that I would be on that phone, or somebody be on the phone, and get a crane in and get that pole down. I can't take the chance of waiting a day. We have to wait long enough for that crane to get there and take the pole down. So, again, whatever needs to be done, we have to get it done. Okay, if there's any questions on that particular, I'm more than happy to. And the other thing is, I guess my question would be to the superintendent is, and to the AD, the vice principal is, what do we do tomorrow? And the remainder of, until we actually know. Now, again, somebody's going to come tomorrow and they're going to poke and look and all that other stuff, but how do we ensure that when we run our sporting activities that our children and spectators are going to be safe? I mean, I know it's a kind of a loaded question, But it's really not, it's just that, you know, is it something that we call everybody and say, hey, look, can we play your games away until this is actually done, and we know what's good and bad? I don't know, just a question.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Obviously, safety is our number one concern for not only our students, but the community as well. I will call the chief tonight to make sure that there are extra patrol around the complex. Tomorrow by noon, we may find out, we may get some type of report on the conditions of the poles, whether they need to be reinforced or not. I would certainly advise the board as soon as we find out. I will meet with Mr. Sacheski tomorrow morning to, if anybody has ever been involved in scheduling sports, it's a nightmare. So this can certainly create a nightmare for our athletes and for our teams, but we will do the best we can. However, we would never compromise the safety of our students, and that's something that I want to make sure that you understand, the board understands as well. And I want to thank Mr. Holmes for his phone call this morning. We had a very productive conversation about the whole situation, and you know, he's very adamant about making sure that if it's an unsafe situation, that we will do something about it, and we will certainly do that. So hopefully by noon tomorrow we'll find out the conditions. Maybe they'll tell us that the remaining poles are in good shape. I don't know, but we will find out tomorrow.
They're about 30 years old, so.
That's enough.
Sure.
And when's the last time you did an inspection? Is there any history of it? I mean, you think about it now because we had some winds, and winds fire. So if you care about the safety, when's the last time you looked at it? You have any history? Let people know, so you know.
We can definitely.
Thank you.
And that's a good point. I think what we have to do is put it on a yearly inspection.
Preventative.
Correct. And that's what we should, again, these are 30 years old. We should look at this particular board or superintendent to be, because we should have done this prior to this and all these years that it's been up. We've been around like that.
Mr. Harms.
Poles in the air, so.
Mr. Harms, will that pole be, the down pole, that be removed tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry, I should have said that. The reason why it was left down is like anything else. The insurance company wants to come and see what's there. They don't want to see you move and all that. So it was there. They came after 1:30 today. I'm hoping that it was done and we can get the pole out of there tomorrow morning so it's safe for people who agree.
Thank you.
After we get done, to go back into the complex. The other thing, I want to ensure that we lock the gates, tomorrow, all gates. We're going to go by locks.
Mr. Harms, you asked a question, and from my other comment, I'm the one that actually gave Mr. Harms his comment call this morning. I'm actually upset that the fields were actually open for 36 hours. But let's move on with that. I am also one of the inspectors in town, and I believe it's a fair statement. Nothing can be reopened unless you get permits, and it goes to the Borough Roselle Park, that those poles are good to go up. I had a conversation with Mr. Del Rosa, who's the electrical inspector today, okay? It brought to his attention why they happened. Let's move on for the kids, okay? It could be weeks, could be months, who knows what's gonna happen, nobody knows. Every one of those poles have to be dug down 2 to 3 feet to see the integrity of those poles. There's 24 more poles to look at, okay? Who knows what could happen? They could fall on Webster Ave, they could fall on Colfax Ave. You're going to have to go through the process to go through City Hall and go through the process of getting anything redone or hooked up. Okay, follow those rules. All right, I'm speaking as a fire official, fire chief, and part of the inspection department. Nothing can be reopened unless you have certified an engineer, a metallurgy report. So we're trying to work together, right, a team.
I understand that that's what we have coming tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So again, that's a good point that after this report is given by this particular firm that's coming out, we should go down to the electrical inspection because that's who would actually be inspecting these if we put up new because it's part of the electrical system that we use there. So we'd have to do one or two things. And when they go through this thing here, give the borough a call, see if they can have the inspector come down, or give the final report to the inspector and that way.
And Lauren, maybe it's premature, but I would, if the community at large feels like any one of them, well, let's see what the report says, but I would feel safer down the road if we looked at some alternatives, not to simply just replace with the same type of system, but maybe we could have public service come out and just ring the field with telephone poles and put standard lights like they have on the streets or something. I mean, I don't know, down the road, but let's see.
And again, we're talking several $100,000. If you remember, several years ago, we did get pricing on replacing these things here because basically they're kind of high.
Well, the old style was built back in 1984, right?
Right.
So they lowered the lights, they made them brighter.
Right.
You did your tennis courts last year.
Right, correct.
So I don't know what that cost you.
Yeah.
No, I know.
But again, with the 24 lights.
How much? You have an idea? Nobody has
No,
that.
I know it was several hundred. I thought it was 200,000, but I could be way off.
Well, I think the first thing is, and we're going to move on with other committee reports, but I think let's see what happens tomorrow, and I think that's a great first stop, and I thank everyone for their contributions. And Mr. Majera will continue to comment on
We
that.
notify the rec leagues, because it's not just the school that uses that, right? So the rec leagues,
Right.
baseball, softball, soccer.
Yes, they've been notified. Great. Okay. Now, do you want to?
I had pictures, and I was inside because the gate was open yesterday. Was open, and I agree with the fire chief, Mr. Cigarello. The safety of our children, safety comes first. This is what you guys say, safety for the children, this for the children. Now I'm saying, for the children's sake, for anyone's human sake, don't open the football field.
Mr. Majora, you already heard that we did say that I asked to have all the gates locked. I've asked the residents here to put on Facebook, to ask their neighbors and friends and all that, not to go on the field. So we're doing what we have to do.
What are you going to do? How about you going to get the message out to the general?
I just said, if you want me to talk a little louder, I can.
You can.
Okay, I asked the people in the audience here, okay, to...
Wait, one at a time. Mr. Majera, let him speak, please.
You asked me a question, and I'm trying to give you an answer. Okay? I've asked the people here, I asked before, if there's anybody watching, to ask their neighbors, tell their children, tell their neighbors' children, do not go into the complex. I asked the people in the audience here tonight if they could go on Facebook and put something out, not to go on the field for the safety of our children.
They have been putting it out on Facebook.
Okay, Mr. Majora, so it's getting out.
Put a sign up on fences.
Mr. Majora.
Thank you.
Mr. Majora, Mr. Juan, what we'll do also is we can do a blast, roll call to our email blast to the entire student body and the parents. So it will be done tonight, so we'll make sure that it reaches everyone.
And all the recreational sports have been notified of the situation, and they're aware of it, baseball and soccer, and then softball as well. And so they're aware of it, and also the fields will be closed anyway on the 16th and 17th for the field treatment for the pesticides applications. So that's some good timing there as well, buy us a little more time as well. But yeah, Ms. Majera, the safety of our children, yeah, I mean, you're preaching to the choir there. I mean, we want the safety of the children as well. And tomorrow's the first step, and we'll see where we go from there. So thank you all for your comments and your and the knowledge as well. Anyone else for committee reports? Seeing that there's none, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Brito, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Miller. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to report on some of the events around the schools. As you are aware, I'm sure everyone is aware that the school is promoting Autism Awareness Month. We had a full month filled with events. Today I attended over at Aldine School where they had an assembly for the students on tolerance and acceptance and so forth, and it was wonderful. Fundraisers. have been unbelievable around the district. I proudly wore that shirt that Ms. Foy is wearing now when I went there. Also, there was other activities today. They blew bubbles out at Robert Gordon School. There is a Zumba for autism at the high school this coming Wednesday night at 6:30, just as another fundraiser. Again, it's a wonderful district. It really promotes the right things. And, Autism Awareness Month, we do have quite a large population of students with, in the spectrum of autism. And, we have a wonderful staff here who really does a great job and, taking care of their needs. So we want to thank everyone involved, all the staff that has been involved in putting all this together, because it's been wonderful. Another event that's going on actually at the Early Childhood Center is the Week of the Young Child. It's a wonderful event. It's full of programs and activities throughout the week. For example, Monday was Motor Monday, where our parents were invited to come and join the children with a short obstacle course in the hallway. Tuesday is the art day. Wednesday is Work Together Wednesday. Thursday, which also includes STEM activities, or even at that level, which we're very, very proud of. And Friday, they will be hosting Family Friday. So parents are encouraged to join them. They decorate T-shirts with the students. So it's a wonderful week for young children at the Early Childhood Center, and we're very, very proud of what goes on there as well. And of course, I hate to do this, but we do have to at least comment on testing that's coming up. It's something that I know our students are not looking for, but we're really trying to make the best out of it. We have gotten better at the technology piece of the whole testing, with being a second year and so forth. Mrs. Falstrom has done a great job in scheduling tests, much better than last year once again, and I think it's going to go very well. It's going to go very well, and we are April, May in testing mode, so we really are testing quite a bit the next 2 months. And those are some of the events that we have planned or are going on right now. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Guido. And now we'll move on to personnel for the evening, and I would like someone to make a motion.
Mr. President, before you start, I'd like to pull number 2 as a standalone.
Would you like to make a motion, Mr. Rollins?
I'm not sure you have to make a motion. Okay, I make the motion to pull number 2 from the, have number 2 as a standalone roll call.
I'll second. Second, first Mr. Harms, second Mr. Vito. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so I'd like to, for personnel, I'd like to have someone make a motion to approve agenda items 1, 3, and 4. For personnel, 1 being staff resignations, 3 being non-union staffing list, and 4 being salary adjustment. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
That's Mr. Burton, second.
I second it.
Second, Mr. Sekou. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing there are none, roll call please, Madam Secretary.
Vice President Harms,
Yes.
Mr. Balaban,
No.
Mr. Bowman,
Yes.
Mr. Cancino, Mr. Gerton,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Sekou,
Yes.
Mr. Vita,
Yes.
President Miller.
Yes.
On roll call, motion carries.
Thank you, and now continue with personnel. I would like someone to make a motion as a standalone to approve agenda item number 2, staff transfer 2016-2017. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Burton, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nelson. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes, Mr. President. I'll be voting no on this particular item. I heard comments tonight about posting for this job. I know in the committee, I brought it up. I think it would be the right thing to do. I know, and I won't get into some of the answers that I got for why we shouldn't, but I still think it's the right thing to do, and let the cards fall where they may, whether it would be the outside, inside, whatever it might be. I think this is the right thing to do.
Thank you, Mr. Arms. Anyone else?
I'll be voting no on this measure, simply because I feel it wasn't following the same path and track as in the past when we were hiring principals. We had a full interview schedule, several candidates, and that's the way it used to be. I mean, I would feel more comfortable selecting somebody from the pool of candidates than just transferring somebody, you know, for the sake of convenience. Because here you have a resignation that's effective June 30th, so certainly there was ample time to create an interview panel and to interview some principals.
Anyone else? Yes, I'm actually going to vote no on this as well. I'm in agreement with Mr. Harms and Mr. O'Donovan on this. I think we definitely have an opportunity to open up to a pool of candidates and select the absolute best candidate for the school. Anyone else?
I'll make a motion here that we table this, Mr. President, for a later date.
Motion's on the table motions on the board to table number 2.
Second.
Second, Mr. Vita. Any questions or comments on tabling it?
I guess a question. In the tabling of it, would we be discussing opening it up, Ms. Burton, is that what we're doing, or are we tabling it just?
Just letting off the agenda.
And then, yes, we discuss that.
Okay.
Mr. Arms.
I have a question.
Mr. Sager.
With the tabling of it also, are we putting a date to that, Mr. Burton? When we're going to come back with a decision, or we're just tabling it and speak about the date and let the public know about the date?
Well, that's not up to me, Mr. St. John, that would be up to the board president and,
Okay, Mr.
I guess the
President.
board secretary, right, to see when it actually appears on the agenda.
Yeah, and I mean, but Mr. Sager,
I'm just in, because we have it on the agenda tonight, and it seems as it's being left open-ended. So I'm asking, will there be a deadline to this in the tabling decision?
The only thing I can say to that is that, can your answer, can we tell the audience when the deadline would be? No. If we table this tonight, as Mr. Gerton asked, what that means is we're putting it for tonight. It's not a closed subject. It's an open subject to the board or the personnel committee first to decide where they're going to go with it, then go to the board and find out where we're going. If the board decides again to do it or go as we're suggesting to open up to the to posting it.
And I think this may just help with sort of the procedural question here. At the next board meeting, the board should make a comment as to where the motion stands. So does it remain tabled, or is it going to be voted on as an agenda item in that session?
so since we have a motion to table this issue for further discussion,
Do we have to, just a point of information, do we have to pull the first and second from the original? You have two motions on the same item.
Yeah.
So I think you have to pull
Procedurally,
the first and second, the original has to back on theirs, reverse it, and then go with the what you call it, the closing, I'm sorry, tabling.
procedurally, Mr. Harms, I agree with you. I think we should first pull the first and second motion, and then proceed with the tabling of the second.
with that said, do I have a motion to,
I guess, not that I know a whole lot here, but I think I know a little bit, is that the president would ask the motion presenter, with he or she withdraw their motion and then ask the person who seconded to do the same.
Sounds good.
On the first motion.
So, Mr. Arms, would you like to hold your first
That was
motion?
Mr. Gert?
Mr. Gert.
Mr. Cool,
Mr. Nelson.
or Mr. Nelson?
We already did roll call on that one, right?
Yes.
No, which one was
Withdraw the first motion.
We're withdrawing the first motion to vote
on just
on the standalone staff transfer number 2.
I will draw.
Okay, withdraw. Okay, that said, we have the second motion, which is to table agenda, personnel number 2, agenda item, to table it, and we had motions for that from Mr. Burton and Mr. Vita. And now we will, and are we done with questions and comments on that? Great, so roll call please, Madam Secretary. On table.
Vice President Harms,
Yes, to table.
Mr. Balaban,
Yes, to table it.
Mr. Bowman,
Yes.
Mr. Cancino, Mr. Gurton,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Seifud,
No.
Mr. Vita,
Yes to table.
President Miller.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
And now we're on education. We'd like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 5 and 6.
I'll make it.
Mr. Gurton, second.
Second.
Mr. Harms, any questions or comments?
Yeah, for number 6, the incoming tuition hillside, is that for the academy program?
No, it's for the high school.
It's for the high school, Mr. Bell.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Those items are passed, and now we're on to business. I'd like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 7 through 12. 7 being contract staff development, 8 being approval of bills, 9 being approval of minutes and revision, 10 being approval of district medical service agreement, and 11 being donation, and 12 being use of buildings and grounds.
So moved.
Mr. Arms, second.
Second.
Mr. Vita, all in favor, or any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Sure.
About agenda item 11, to accept the donation of an air conditioner for room 204 here at Robert Gordon. Can I just get some background on that? That's in specific to that specific room. I just would like to know some more information before we do.
I'd like to say thank you.
I believe the family approached the principal about making the donation, and
Just for that room in particular, they just wanted that room?
yes. And we are gratefully thanking them and accepting the donation to
Right.
do so.
And I know it gets hot in the warmer weather. I was just going to ask about that. Okay, thank you.
We never turn down donations.
Nor should you.
Before we vote on this, I would like to make a correction on 12B, the Roselle Park Recreational Wrestling Dinner. And instead of July 21st, they're going to move up, it's moved up to April 21st, 2016. Please note that correction. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Number 9, I have to abstain on the closed sessions.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman, so moved. Those items are passed, and now we're on to continuing business. Mr. Brito?
Mr. Miller, there have been 4 students identified as now residing in Roselle Park, and therefore have been moved out of the district.
Thank you. And now we're on to new business. Does anyone have new business?
Mr. President, as you know, recently there's been a lot of news about lead remediation. Like you, Mr. President, and board members and members of the audience, there's been a lot of news lately about the lead remediation. You know, there was discussion in Trenton about, maybe mandating new requirements to test for lead again, etc. I know this district, we tested it last time, maybe well over 5 years ago, I believe. Correct? Are there any plans? I mean, I was looking for any cues from the governor's message today about lead, but he basically was talking about HUD grants for low-income and moderate-income households. I didn't hear anything about schools getting direct state aid to do lead remediation or testing. That's what I'm, basically testing. Just an abundance of caution, are we gonna do something along those lines in the near future? Are we planning anything along those lines?
As we reported at our last board meeting, when this question came up, the Director of Plant Operations has already called in a number of companies to give us quotes to do lead testing. By law, we need to get 3 quotes. I believe we've received 2 so far. We're waiting for the 3rd, and then we'll proceed from there.
Okay, good. That's good news. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The other thing is, as I look around this room, I noticed some paint chippings. I mean, I'm not saying they're lead or whatever based, but I'm just saying there's paint chippings. So God forbid they fall to the ground and, some child is there and picks it up. If that could be taken care of, I'd feel better.
Thank you. We'll bring it to their...
I'm sorry to be a stickler, but you never know. Sometimes the littlest things can make the biggest impact.
And speaking about biggest impact, I want to say, does anyone else have any business? Oh, yeah, go ahead, Mr.
Mr. Miller, I just wanted to advise the board, it is April 5th. The district has an additional day that was not used as a snow day. Looking at today's weather, you just never know, we may have to use it or not. However, we need to inform the parents when that's going to happen. As per our PEA contract, we have to give that day back. My recommendation will be, since testing is going on through April, most of May, I believe when I looked at the calendar, the Friday prior to Memorial Day seemed to be the least disruptive of any days, but again, it is up to the discretion of the board to select a date. June is very busy with activities, so I just want to make sure that, because we need to put it on the next board agenda, so we can vote on it and we can get the word out to the parents.
What day do we end school on this year?
It's June 22nd, Wednesday, June 22nd.
So just, I'll put it out there, and half the people are going to like it, half the people aren't, right? But I go back 2 years ago. It was really warm that last week, right? I mean, I forget how hot it was, but it was hot. And are we better served by having it one less day at the end of the year? I know the long weekend is great around Memorial Day. I recall that we have Monday off, or is that a half a session? The Monday before Memorial Day.
It's maybe a step down.
So just, to consider that, to me, I don't care where that day is,
Mr. Gurney, the only problem that I see with that is, I know graduations and things like that have already been planned, so it's going to take a lot of maneuvering to make it a day early. That's the only concern that I have. And I know that June is filled with all kinds of graduation activities and things like that. That's my only concern, that they've already been planned, they've already been scheduled, and some of them have been paid for.
Do we have most of our rooms now in elementary schools? Well, I'm seeing some of our staff shaking their head adamantly no, but are most of those?
No.
There has been nice improvement. Not
We're trying.
yet, but nice improvement.
So I would just ask to consider that, and maybe it's not Wednesday, maybe it's that Monday of that week, and I know that's an inconvenience, and I just remember how hot it was that last week of the year, a couple summers ago, or a couple school years ago. Yeah. Are they half days?
Didn't we last year?
We don't have days left.
I remember one day we had close school meetings, it was like 95 degrees in the classroom, you started in school.
That was a couple years ago, we had an early dismissal.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, wow, okay.
Great, thank you.
So how do we go about getting that settled up. Is that just a recommendation from the superintendent again? Okay.
It's just my recommendation. It's out to the board.
Because we can discuss that. We do this on Friday. One last thing, anyone else for new business? That's coming from teachers.
We don't like Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to let you know something because I help out in soccer in this town and with recreation soccer, and it's going very well. And I just wanted to let people know of an initiative that a couple of the people in our organization are going to start. And I wanted to just tell you guys, this is a great forum to get it out to. We are, recreational soccer is associated with New Jersey Youth Soccer. And part of New Jersey Youth Soccer, they have an organization called Top Soccer. And Top Soccer is providing recreational soccer for special needs children. And we are, as an organization, we are looking at that. Just purely recreation. It has nothing to do with school. I just wanted to get it out there because I'm sure we all know children with special needs, and as parents would like them to be involved in some sort of athletics, be it baseball, softball, or soccer. And we're looking, right now we're in the data gathering stage in Roselle Park, and looking to reach out to parents out there who think their daughter or son might be interested in special needs involved in soccer. And basically what it is Top Soccer comes in and they train us for like a 3-hour classroom session and a 1-hour gym session, because all this Top Soccer is done in a gymnasium. And it's done basically with a one-on-one contact with the child, and the child could be, it runs gamut, could be wheelchair bound, could be blind, could be any special needs child could be available to do this, and it's just a wonderful thing to get them out there and to get these parents' children involved in an activity. So right now we're in the gathering stage, but if you know anybody out there who would be interested in parents, they could email me, and we're looking to possibly have some type of program going in the fall for that, because I think there is a need for that. And so just wanted to get that out there, and if you know people, please spread the word. Thank you.
Is that all age level?
Yeah, it would be all age levels. Yep, and it'd be basically in the fall, an hour a day, say in the gymnasium, and it's just, I've seen it, and it's wonderful, and I think the children will benefit from it, and I think that they will have such a wonderful experience, and I think their parents will not only have a wonderful experience as well, but get them involved too, and get them as part of the Roselle Park community as well. So we're really looking forward to it, and there's some other drivers in it as well throughout Union County, where we're talking with Cranford, Westfield, and other towns. Scotch Plains family, I believe, already has one going, and trying to link up with them as well. So, and we can have a kind of a community of Top Soccer for these children to get them out there and to have fun and to, just to have like, say, hey, I'm traveling to Westfield to do my Top Soccer and make them feel and enjoy athletics to the best of their ability. And it's just a win-win for everybody. So just wanted to put it out there. With that, we will now go on to the public participation portion of the evening. And before we come up and comment, I just wanted to, we'll say you come up and come out on anything you'd like. You have 3 minutes to do so. And at the last 2 board meetings, the board listened to several comments from the public regarding the proposed transfer of a district employee. And please know that while the superintendent and the board have listened to everything the public has said, due to legal restrictions, neither the board nor superintendent are in a position to share the rationale or any specifics behind this personnel matter or any other personnel matter. The board and the superintendent understand that not every decision that is made will be supported by every member of the Roselle Park community. However, the board and superintendent also know that whenever decisions in the district need to be made, they are made with the very best interests of Roselle Park students in mind. So, when the board and superintendent sit at these meetings and do not respond to certain comments and questions from the public, please know that both the superintendent's silence and the board's silence is legally required in certain instances, such as personnel matters. With that said, please come forward, state your name, address, and what you'd like to speak on. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Matarante, 310 East Clay Avenue. I just want to make sure I heard this correctly. If I'm willing to donate an air conditioner, I can dictate where it goes? Okay, so obviously.
Yes, you can.
Well, no, because I was told something different prior, so I just wanted to make sure. Because
Get one for you.
Yeah, the electric.
Along with the electricity, that
I'm
might
assuming
be
that the room
involved.
has electricity.
No, the support the air conditioning, that's our mission.
Support.
Okay, yes.
Sometimes additional electrical work is involved.
To be clear, we're not suggesting they pay the electric bill, right?
No,
We're saying,
No.
it's for an electrical outlet.
Aren't I already paying electric bill?
Good evening, I'm Kathleen Kaiba, 24 Union Road. I just had one question. I had, or a comment. I had a few moms, I didn't realize my daughter was using my phone, said they were locked out. And they spent 20, 25 minutes downstairs banging on the door. I had the same thing happen to me. I was Facebooking everybody I knew at the last two Board of Ed meetings at Sherman, trying to get in. Luckily, Sal was nice enough to let me in both times. Is there another way we can have these meetings? I mean, I know it's hard enough to get people to come, but when the door's locked, it really discourages people even more. And I feel bad I didn't get my messages. Apparently she was playing Tomb Raider or something. But I know there's some more people can come if there's someone there. So just a small one.
Thank you.
I'm going to follow up that because my father wanted to come to the meeting tonight. And I'd like to ask the attorney, is this a violation of the American Disabilities Act? Public forum? You have a fourth floor, 79-year-old man, can't make it up. Can you comment on that?
My understanding is that there is accessibility in every school district with respect to access to boardrooms. Having said that, the board is currently looking into reconfiguring the meeting structure in order to make it more easily accessible for people.
So has there been suggestions to the superintendent, has there been suggestions to have a separate wall? Have you taken that into consideration?
We do take everything into consideration. The reason why we like to have it in the district and we are considering any options is we like to showcase our schools and our buildings, and I think that's a great thing for, for our buildings. But we are considering a change of venue. We certainly are within the district at this point. But anything is up for discussion.
So how long does it take to consider? Like for the next meeting? Is the next meeting?
It could be, the discussion will happen with the board. It could.
Possibly the youth center, could the youth center be used for the board meeting?
We will consider, and we will consider all possibilities.
That is as well as accessible parking, which can be a situation as well as a school.
So if you just indulge me for a second, and I certainly agree. I got halfway up here and took a couple breaths and finished the rest of the trip, all right? So, I mean, it is what it is, right? So I agree that this facility maybe is less than ideal, right? But there's certainly an advantage to coming into the schools, right? And though tonight we're not showcasing any of the students' work, right? We try to, as a board, at least once a month, have recognition. It's an opportunity for the families to come in. There's oftentimes our staff is here on their own time. So it seems to have worked well. It's been this way since before I was on the board, 4 or 5 years ago, the decision was made. Logistically, I recognize that this building could be a problem. Maybe we need to address that. But I got to tell you, from my chair, just one of many people that come to the board meetings, it does seem to be good, especially for the children. They get to see a board in their own gym where they play basketball or have assemblies. And it also is an opportunity. There's been a lot of improvements in our school over the years, or changes in our school. I know Mrs. Floyd recognized the fans we got it now being well overdue, at the last board meeting. So, not to discount what you said, because I hear you.
Like I say, you want to do something like that, then have like a half-hour show, so everybody can see the school. But if you say it's a law, you have people who are upset with what's going on currently in the situation. You have people out there who want to come in and express themselves. Then do your thing separately, show your school separately, come up with an idea, put your heads together, and come up with a plan. Because essentially, people are missing out on this,
Understood. And to that point too, there is other, and I know it's one way. There's, I believe we have a broadcast on some website somewhere.
Right.
It's one way.
Right now, people can hardly hear you. It's
Okay.
in and out. So then it's technology. You have people out there who want to know what's going on, who can't make it. So just try to adhere to, it's a law, right? Is it a law? Follow the law. You know what I'm saying? Is it a law or not?
That the meetings need to be accessible.
Right.
That's the law. Not specific
In your
as to
opinion,
how it's
You
accessible.
walk up the stairs, is it?
I can't offer an opinion on it.
Okay.
All I can say is that the board is discussing the situation.
Okay, we discussed it 2 meetings ago, last meeting, and let's see what happens next meeting.
At the last meeting, I questioned Jake. At the last Board of Ed meeting, I had questioned, when was the last time the water was tested in the school system? And it was mentioned 5 years ago. May I, is there a copy of the certificate of acceptance that the water is lead-free, etc.? Is there a copy?
We can check. Yes.
All right. And now, the state was involved, and there's funding for testing of lead. So if you folks want to take advantage of it, please do so. Thank you.
Saul appears in 150 Berwyn Street. Just for the record, Mr. Hanson did notify of his absence.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I was outside, but I thought I heard Mr. Valapan through the chair. Mr. Did you vote no for agenda item 1 through 7 excluding 2, or did you vote yes? Because I thought I heard no, that's why I'm asking. For 1 through excluding number 3. Agenda item 2.
I voted no.
On all of them.
I'm all.
You don't have to give a reason, but is there a reason for it?
I don't want to get into personnel issues, but, there were certainly serious considerations on that. I was also going to vote on 2, the same one.
Thank you. Regarding the lights, since presumably they'll be repaired sometime in the future, and we have a budget, will this impact the budget as far as expenses? Is it considered a capital expense? Is it an emergency expense? Is it going to have to be put on as a rider for the budget? So if it turns out that the 24 lights need to be changed, will that expense be put on this coming year's budget as a rider? Will it have to be put in as an emergency, as a capital expense? I'm sure it's taken care of.
Well, part of it's taking them down, right? They can save the other parts replacing it.
The one light that did come down in the windstorm, that will be covered by insurance. Insurance adjuster was out today, told us to go get a quote and send the information to them. As far as the other lights are concerned, that remains to be seen. Once we get them evaluated tomorrow, we'll know a little bit more. Depending upon the outcome of that evaluation, it could range from zero cost if everything is structurally sound. The other extreme, all 24 are not structurally sound and need to be taken down and replaced. Then you're talking about a very large price tag, and therefore something like that would have to involve future budgeting, and most likely something that extreme would have to be a separate question on a future ballot to to fund something like that.
But I guess it's getting to logistics, but I guess that could be one by default, because, so if people vote no, you're still gonna have to get those lights. The safety overrides the people's will.
The lights are down.
Well, I guess my question would be just,
Right.
to go with the largest scenario, is your question is that, we'll just take a number, if it was $200,000 to replace all, because they're finding out that the integrity of the steel is bad. I guess the question to Ms. Gershio is, would there be an opportunity to put something, because I would think it would be way over 2%, if it has to go that way, or does it go capital, but it's still over 2%, are we able to put it on a referendum for November?
Right.
Or, because he's right though, is that we have many sports that from now until whoever, you'd have to play everything during the day. You could not play any night games whatsoever. And again, and I just use football because that's the only one we actually play at night, and soccer. What would we do? I know what we do then, we'd have to change. But again, that's a very good question. I think we should be looking into that to be proactive in case, can we put it on, does the county superintendent say, okay, you can, you can't, you know, whatever, and then put it out to the people. And again, the people can say no to, if it was 200,000, I'm just using the number, but then the board would have to make a decision, okay, no, we take all the lights down, but there's still a cost at that point, and don't put no lights back up again, we play everything during the day.
And let's just see what tomorrow brings, and then.
Well, I'm trying to bring things out so the public understands what might happen, instead of waiting and waiting. I want to be more forthcoming.
Right. And I just have two comments. One, having been at both regular meetings at Borough Hall and meetings for the Borough at Borough Hall, there were more people at this meeting than there were at any of those meetings. Just as a general consensus, and I do believe it's better for government to go out to its people, as opposed to always having that same place to go to. Having been at that, I mean, there was literally for about 2 years, myself and Mr. McGarrett were at those board of ed meetings. So I don't know if times have changed, but I feel moving around is better, to have people have an opportunity to come. But that's just me. And my second comment is regarding the issue of the principal of the school, relative. I would ask for the board to have an official independent investigation regarding that. I believe it's that serious. There's a lot of questions that you cannot answer legally, but there are a lot of questions that should be answered in some sort of official capacity. If it's independent of the board, when someone comes in and does an investigation, and those findings are made public, that would be important. However it falls, people should know, including myself. Thank you.
I just wanted to follow up on the lights.
Speak to the mic, Mr.
My next slide will be 5'5". Just to follow up on the lights, maybe something that we can look at going forward is the open space funds that are available through the county, the open parks that we did previous to Green Acres stuff, and start to look at that. We just came back from the Parks and Rec show, just as an aside, and we got some information on lights with the LEDs and I don't know if you can stop on the small, he probably has it. You know, no other light. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is, I was kind of going through the website and I came across the board's goals and objectives. And one of them is communication. I want to know how you guys determine if you've met these goals. This is for this year's. This is communication. The board and the superintendent will develop a communication system designated to enhance communication between the board, the superintendent, the district, and the members of the school community. As part of this process, the board and the superintendent will utilize public statements, press releases, email, district Facebook page, individual school websites, which shall regularly be updated by school district employees. Board minutes, and where appropriate, reports from various committee meetings. To further enhance communication, the superintendent shall establish a Twitter account and use the same to communicate with members of the school committee on the district's happenings and updates. So what I'm asking is, how do you determine if you can meet these goals?
Yeah, at the end of the year, all goals are evaluated at the end of the school year, and we either decide by evidence of that supports whether we have met the goals or not. Or if not, we can make the goal for the following year. We might partially meet the goal, not complete it. It's done in the past, so we do evaluate, we do have a discussion on the goals. Okay.
Is it something that you, I'm just going to say, as a side stop today, do you think that some of these goals this year better than in past years or worse than in past years?
Well, right now, I mean, I can't comment on that. I think every goal, you definitely have a plan to meet all the goals. There are goals that, fall below your expectations, and there are goals that exceed your expectations, so absolutely. I mean, I believe there were 3 or 4 goals, so that's...
Well, there's steps. I wasn't so worried. I've come up to you guys the last couple of months, and my biggest thing is communication. We know that schools succeed with family engagement. And to be real, our PTOs and our PTAs are engaged in family, but is our board and our district administrators engaged in families? And maybe that's what we need to look at.
Well, one of the things that was part of my goal was the superintendent's job. I wish more parents will come. It is advertised, it is in every district. However, I've gotten maybe an average of 10, 12 parents in each.
Maybe it's in there, just real quick, 6 o'clock is really hard to make.
Well, I've had one 7 as well.
7? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for tabling item number 2. We appreciate it. Maybe there's only 20 or 30 people here tonight, but these 20 or 30 people are talking to another 10. So we're not filling up the seats and bringing 100 people in. And to dovetail on what Sol is saying, there's more people coming because some folks in town are not happy what's going on. That's why we're here. That's why you're getting emails. That's why you're getting Facebook. I'm like Mr. Harms. I'm not really to Facebook. So that's why people are paying attention on the moves, the people that's unsettled, what's going on, the transfers and so on and so forth, the contracts coming, and so on forth and so forth. I'd like to add just a little bit about the going higher within. Okay, a young lady starts to become a teacher in the borough, the district. Someday after a year or 2, she's a teacher. She wants to become principal. She works hard, or he works hard to become a good teacher. 10, 20 years, they're a teacher. And we send them to school, we pay for them to go to school, and it's disheartening. Twice in 2 years you haven't hired within. I know I became a fireman in 1980, and I worked hard to become fire chief. I would be very upset living in town and working there, and I didn't become fire chief. We need to take that. That's the same thing applies. Morale. You don't hire within, it's not good for that building. So think about posting, hiring within, and giving somebody an opportunity to do what's right. Just want to help out a little bit back with the polls. We have a lot of things on the floor. It could be $240,000. It could be capital. They can be repaired. They could be sleeved. Maybe it's only $2,000. So wait till you hear this. Like I said, I think people want to know what's the right thing to do. But I do recommend we hold off and don't rush. It takes a week, it takes a month. We gotta wait. So I just want to have one last comment on our public session, closed session. Madam Attorney, I think sometimes you're a little too vague on using the word, it's always personnel matters. Personnel matters. I'm not sure if they are or not, but it seems it's always a personnel matter. I have the state statute. You can give better explanations why you go into closed session. The borough does it all the time. We don't do it here. And maybe it is. People are watching and people are looking at your minutes. You need to say if you're going into negotiations with X, Y, and Z, you're going to have a hiring, you're talking about the electric bill, you're too vague. If it is personnel, then use it to the full extent. You're using your rules and going back to the coming up here for handicapped. Use your rules constantly. Be consistent. Thank you.
I don't want to prolong the meeting very much longer, but Kristen Crawford, 426 Maplewood Avenue. So I just wanted to comment on a part of the superintendent's report. My son has been going to school for 6 years. I'm a parent of a child with special needs, and I just want to commend the district for all that they're doing for Autism Awareness Month. 6 years ago, it was not even heard of. My husband and I are the only people on our street with blue light that lights up the whole entire month of April. And so I've seen little things happen little by little every single year, and I just want to commend every school in the district for really embracing this, because we do have a lot of kids that are in our school district with special needs, and I think that it's really great and welcoming, and I just want to commend the district on that.
Mr. President, as we wait for another member of the public to come up, can I ask Mr. Harms, and I really didn't want to get into it, but on the poll. So Joe just mentioned something. Did it snap? Was it the footer? What was it? So I haven't driven by.
It snapped right at the ground. And Joe and I, we talked today about the poll, and we thought maybe because that's the one area that everybody has the water. And all the football players, varsity, JV, that's what the drinking thing is. So we were maybe saying, okay, maybe that because of all the water in there. We're not experts, but again, you know something, in a way, I'm hoping that's what it was. So this way we don't have to close the field down. But if it isn't, then so be what we have to do. And Joe's right. I was just trying to give an example of what it might cost if the worst scenario, as I said, was the worst scenario.
No, I appreciate that.
And again, it's right there. I mean, you know, they took the wires out, they put a plate over it, just so the people wouldn't think. And to the comment about the field was open, I'm not sure why it was open after it happened. You know, again, not sure. It's done. We can't do anything about it, but we can do something about going forward to keep safety of our residents and other people.
Good thing nobody got hurt. It fell that way, right?
Yeah. Two buildings, no buildings got wrecked.
It didn't fall in the street.
Not even on the fence. I mean, it was, you know, it's amazing. So
not a good thing, but at least nobody got hurt. So.
Exactly. And hopefully we can take care of it more.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Janine Goodis, 152 Berlin Street. I'm sure now you're sick of seeing the same faces and the same questions, so I'm not going to ask again. But I do have a question. The first meeting that we attended, we sat through I sat for the budget. I didn't see the second one, I wasn't around that day. But in there, I know there was a line for salaries. And I'm seeing that the staff transfer that you pulled today, there was a $19,000 increase in salary. Was that budgeted in the budget that you showed us a couple of weeks ago? And does that have to then be changed if it wasn't? Will we be notified of changes to that budget line? How does that work?
Jean, the salary of an Aldine principal was budgeted in fact, the salary was budgeted higher because the current principal, who has resigned effective June 30th, is actually making more than that. So,
So it all just kind of washes out.
Yes. the positions are always budgeted. It might not have the same name attached every year, but the position is in there.
And Ms. Criscio, Mr. Goodness had a question regarding how would it be accounted for, the difference in dollars, right? Plus or minus, and maybe you can explain that's through the transfers that we see on a very regular basis on the meeting minutes, right?
Right. When you create a budget so far in advance, you have no way of knowing exactly every single personnel. There's so many things that happen, maternity leaves, et cetera, et cetera. So if by chance a person comes into a position for whatever reason and the salary is higher, then I would have to do a transfer to that particular line item to add additional funds. By law, I have to do that, and I would have to likewise transfer the same amount of money out of a different line item to cover it, because I always have to stay within the original budget amount.
Thank you.
Seeing as no one else will close the second public participation portion of the evening tonight. And now I'd like to have someone to make a motion to go into closed session. We're going to go into closed session for the subjects of personnel and also attorney-client privilege. It's anticipated that the executive session will take approximately 90 minutes, and the board may take action when it reconvenes to public session. And the minutes of the executive session shall be released to the public when the reason for the executive session no longer exists. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Vita, second, Mr. Harms. All in favor? Aye. We are in favor.
You gotta sleep bag.
No, that's the other one.
Do I have a motion to go into open?
I'll make some motion, second.
All in favor? Aye. We are in open. We were in closed session for approximately 2 hours.
It's 2.5, probably two and a half.
For 2.5 hours, and for matters of attorney-client privilege and personnel. And now we're in open. And Ms. Osborne, Ms. Statement.
Okay, I have a hand carry resolution here, item number 13. The board appoints Peter B. Fallon Esquire for the purpose of conducting a special district investigation. I'm going to take a roll call. Vice President Harms?
Yes.
Mr. Balabam? Mr. Bowman?
Yes.
Mr. Cancino? Mr. Gerton?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Sekou?
Yes.
Mr. Vita? President Miller?
Yes.
On roll call, motion carries.
Now I'd like to have someone make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, Mr. Harms and Mr. Sekou. And all in favor?
Aye.
And our next meeting is going to be at the high school, and that date is April 26th, and I'll be at the High School Media Center.
And notice will be sent out prior to, because it was down here, we just wanted to mention that.
Correct. We will notify the proper people.
Media center or auditorium?
Well,
High school.
you know what?
It'll be at the high school, it'll be at the high school, we'll let you know where.
Well, that's going to be a presentation, so we might as well go to the auditorium.
That's what I was thinking, because we're going to try to have kid's still there, right?
So we will go to the auditorium and at the media center for the board meeting on the 26th of April at 7 o'clock. Thank you and have a good evening, everyone.